before Siad, you may want to mute your mic, so my voice otherwise will echo from the two mics. All right. So before I go to welcoming you all, so let me have a quick look at the schedule. So that is basically on the 3rd, we have from 11 for 30 minutes. Okay, the first 10:30 to 11 is the introduction. From 11 to 11:30 is the humanitarian communication and reporting. And then from 11:30 onward for another 30 minutes, we have the UN system, history, structure, and institutional and policy setup. While I will try to have the introduction as concise as possible, to save more time for the more substantial sessions. Our second session on the UN system structure may go a little bit more than 30 minutes. We may need another 10 minutes or so. So if that could be accommodated by all colleagues, will be very much appreciated. All right, thank you, Siad, for putting this the program up on the screen. All right, so let's begin. I think I would go to share my screen for now, and then as we move on, then we will flip between the different presentations. So, colleagues, thank you so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to be here and to have this discussion with you, where we would try to bring in the overall humanitarian response structure and then try to explain that, and also learn from you on how those structures have been mirrored or implemented within the Somali government, and also to identify common areas where the two systems can work together, and then at being able at the end of the day to identify very specific areas on how OCHA could help SOTMA to enhance their capacity in terms of identifying what information is needed for response planning, how that information should be collected, how that information should be processed, and what kind of products needs to be produced out of it that can help the decision-making process within a humanitarian response system. So in order to do that, we thought it would be best for us to first of all present the overall structure, to look at the global UN system and the UN aid, or the United Nations aid delivery system, how it works at the global level. Then zoom in at Somalia level, how does it work in Somalia level? And then we zoom in a little bit further into more specifically how the coordination happens within OCHA and the cluster system. Then from there, we look into some of the aspects of the overall coordination, which is public information, information management, humanitarian access, humanitarian financing, and all of these different components. We look into them separately to give you a much better idea of how things work on this end. Then based on that, we will have another session with you guys to identify what are the more specific areas you might identify that you would require further and in-depth training, where we can design that and provide those training that will enable our colleagues in SOTMA to be able to better process and manage their information. So that was the overall idea behind it. If any colleagues from SOTMA want to elaborate a little bit further based on some of the discussions that we have had, so you have the floor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Muhammad, it is good, and I think you can proceed from my side.
Thank you.